So I think that gets us to the cars you have now. Go into deep chat about what you have now, what you've done to those cars, what you're planning to do. I think the people will be very interested to hear.
Cool. Yeah, so I've my goal with any car is to make it ridiculous. People must look at it and be, wow. They must just say, wow. I want something unique, something that very few or no people have or can have or have had, and something that speaks to me, which is, it's not, I wouldn't say it's my personality to be obnoxious, but I do like a loud, noisy, fast, obnoxious car.
Yeah.
So, let's start from the beginning this year. It was the Jeep Trackhawk, which is already a 6.2 litre V8 supercharged motor, stupid fast car.
I mean, fastest of the SUVs at that point.
100%. And my first thing to do to that car, it was already quite loud, was to put a ridiculous exhaust on it.
Well, what else?
So I went to Borle in the States. They make an exhaust that's actually approved by Jeep. Not cheap, but let me tell you, that car was fast. When when I started that car, you can hear there's a big V8 starting somewhere.
Yeah.
And it shakes the buildings in town.
Yeah.
But the thing, what I liked about that car is also you can, if you're driving it normally, it sounds like a normal car. If you're not, it's an absolute animal.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool. So that car didn't do too much too, because I've got two sections of my cars. I have my daily drivers and I have my toys. This is a daily driver. So I didn't do anything besides the exhaust and the intake on that car. Kept it reliable, kept it obviously fast,
Yeah.
and kept it within motor plan.
Okay.
Then I obviously had my toy. At that time, we started with my M2 build. Just a normal, I think it was a 2017 N55 motor M2, not the competition.
Yes.
I started with the full bolt-ons. I did, the intercooler, oil catch can, the usual.
Yeah.
Stage 2, I think, software. We went water meth, charge pipes, intakes, basically the full bolt-ons on stock motor. It was a cool car. It was playing around at 300 kilowatts. For me, it was cool, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
I then got an offer from a company called Big Boost in America. They're well known for doing big single turbo kits, and they developed a kit for my car. So it was actually the first kit they developed for a right-hand drive car.
Does that make any difference? Left-hand, right-hand drive?
Yeah, so the fitment would have been slightly different because I think it's a steering column or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's the first one they developed. The car turned into an absolute animal.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously we ran into one or two teething problems. We built the car. We were pushing about 400 kilowatts, which is really strong on a stock motor.
Yeah.
We obviously had the normal fueling issues with that car, so we upgraded the high pressure and low pressure fuel pumps. Then we took it to the track day, probably prematurely. The car absolutely wrecked itself. It went into limp mode.
Oh no!
I think I cut the injectors out. Everything to do with the fueling system was shot.
Just went down.
So obviously we found the weak points in the car. We upgraded. Now we've got the car sitting, I think, just short of 420 kilowatts. Fueling is perfect, and we've got the potential to put a lot more power on. So it's beautiful. That's also part of the process is, trial and error. We know X, Y, and Z is going to work, but if this is going to fail, we know it's going to fail. We're going to upgrade it.
Yeah.
Most people, if something breaks in their car, they're like, "Oh no, it's broken." For me, it's part of the process. You're going to break something, you're going to upgrade something, you can then improve your car.
I think what's different for your situation is the fact that you intend to make this car, max out potential, what it could be at its max. So, you are going to have some setbacks, and I think for you, that's all right. For your typical average car guy, when something breaks, fix it, okay, that's fine. But it's not about just fixing, it's about improving.
Exactly.
And I mean, probably a lot of tuning companies, modification companies, they work with these cars and the engines, and something happens, and sometimes they don't even know, what's clapping, like what's actually wrong, what went to fault. So now they have to go find the issue. If there's not a solution, they have to make a solution.
Exactly.
So,
and that's what ATM does. They're actually very good at that, is troubleshooting. But I think even before they troubleshoot, they're very forward thinking. So they think this may be a potential issue in the future. So instead of letting the issue become an issue, they fix it. They fix it, or they change it, or they have a solution before it even happens, which is quite quite different. I think a lot of the other companies wait for something to break.
Yeah.
My guys, they think, okay, what could break? They fix it, they upgrade it. Now it's not going to break.
Yeah.
If something else breaks, then, we cross that bridge when we get there. But we know that's not going to break.
Yeah.
So right now the M2's fueling enough to be pushing like 1,000 kilowatts. It's obviously not pushing 1,000 kilowatts, but now we know 100% guaranteed we're not going to have any fueling issues.
Yeah.
Now or in the future if we do decide to forge the motor.
So, do you have any stats on what the fuel economy is on that car?
I must be honest, I have no idea, but it's thirsty. It's very thirsty.
I mean, you probably go, drive, come back, have to refill again.
Yeah,
like
it's thirsty. It's not a car that you want in. If you're
Yeah.
worried about fuel economy, don't modify your cars.
You're not taking it to Bloemfontein anytime soon.
Exactly.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I actually am driving it up to Joburg next week.
Oh my word!
But
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to cost there's going to be a fuel bill there. I can tell you that much.
So the fact that it's now pushing around 420, you said, implies that you're going to, go higher.
Yeah. So my intention is right now the car is where I want it. But also we understand that we are in a stock motor. We've got stock rods, stock pistons, stock block.
Yeah.
Things, when you're pushing a lot of power and you're boosting high and your compression ratios are changing, things like that, your car can break. Your motor can break. And I'm prepared for that. I know if it breaks, fine. I'm going to forge the motor. I'm going to go fully built motor. I'm probably going to do a closed deck conversion. And if I do, we've got power targets of 4 figures plus. But for right now, I'm happy with where the car is.
Do you know of anyone who's doing that with the M2?
No. Right now, as it stands, my M2 is the most powerful N55 M2 in South Africa. Possibly the world. I can't claim about the world, but I know absolutely right now in South Africa it is the most powerful N55 M2.
And another question regarding reliability and maintenance is tires.
Yes.
You probably shred through tires.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be weird to have maybe 5-6 sets in a few months or a year. Yeah.
5-6 sets a month sometimes.
5-6 sets a month. That is something that I have no comprehension of. But okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's my tire budget is probably my highest expense in the cars. Obviously, maintenance is an expense, but because ATM makes sure I stay on top of my maintenance all the time, it's never like a massive expense. If you're supposed to service a car every, if the light tells you every 10,000 or 20,000 Ks, ATM services my cars every like 7,000 Ks.
Okay.
Just to stay on top of the maintenance.
Yeah.
They check every time. If I'm on the track, if I'm, after a month where I've particularly been pushing the cars more than normal or something like that, they'll make me bring the cars in or they'll come fetch the cars. They'll check it out. They take the wheels off. They open up the motor. They check everything. If it's not in tip-top shape, they make sure it's in tip-top shape.
Yeah. No, super thorough. That's very good to hear. So we've got the M2 covered. You also have the M4.
Yeah, Liberty Walk M4.
Let's go on that one.
So it's the very rare car. It's the only original Liberty Walk M4 in South Africa, built by a race in Johannesburg. They're the only agents for Liberty Walk in Africa, I believe.
Okay.
Their build quality is on another level. They obviously... So race is also kind of a one-stop shop, but they mainly focus on cosmetics. They didn't build the car for me. The car was owned by... Not too sure what his name was. It was owned by another guy. I was then looking to buy an M4, but I didn't want a normal M4. So I was looking at an M4 CS and I was looking at an M4 GTS. And then the guys from Race, I was busy speaking to them about Liberty walking my GTR.
Yeah.
Then the guys from Race found out that I was looking for an M4. So they said, hold up on the GTR, come look at this car. They sent me a link and the day before that Liberty Walk M4 came up for sale.
So it was already Liberty Walk before?
It was already Liberty Walked, and they'd already done some performance mods.
Okay.
Yeah, not the greatest quality performance mods on a car like that, so I basically redone the whole thing.
So is that in terms of just what they did with the engine mechanically, or chip tuning, or?
Yeah, so they obviously they tuned it. They put methanol, nitrous on it. They did your normal bolt-on mods.
Yeah.
But just in my opinion, with a car of that caliber, I wouldn't skimp on the prices of the parts you're getting.
Sure.
And I feel like they did. They were using sort of not quite the top quality parts, and in my
some
opinion,
budget cuts and
exactly.
Not
So
worth it.
I wouldn't. For me, if you can't afford to get the best, don't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If there's a turbo for $1,000 that's going to last me 6 months, maybe less, or there's a turbo for $5,000 that I know is going to last me for much longer, and I can't afford the $5,000 one, I'm not going to buy the $1,000 one. I'm going to wait until I can afford the $5,000 one.
Yeah.
That's what I do with all my cars. I make sure I've got the best of the best, so I know if something fails, it's not because of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the car was modified. They were claiming 450 kilowatts on the car. It was not 450 kilowatts. I know the previous owner also blew the motor while running nitrous on a stock motor. So I basically got the car with like, the motor had like 3,000 Ks on it.
So brand new motor.
Brand new
rebuilt.
motor. We've still got the same kind of mods they put on, except we've just done it with better parts.
Okay.
So it's got also stock motor. We've got hybrid turbo, stage 2 hybrid turbos on it. All the boost pipes, charge pipes, CSF charge cooler.
Yeah.
Methanol for the cooling. It still has nitrous, but it's disconnected at the moment. And we've got some nice tune files for it as well.
Well, I guess you have enough power without nitrous in anyway.
Exactly. That car, it's not a race car. If you've watched my videos, you know what I do with it mostly. You don't need stupid power to do that.
It's a very active showpiece.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very properly used showpiece.
Yeah, 100% it's not a garage queen.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one thing. We'll chat about disturbing the peace in a bit, but I think that's the one thing about looking at your videos and what you do with your cars is that you use them. Yep. We see every single one being used, being shredded, and I think that's where, for you said you have your daily drivers, then you have your toys. Toys are meant to be used and 100%. To be played with.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel you do it in a very prudent way, which is good.
I'm not scared to play with my cars.
Yeah.
It's if something happens, something happens. It is what it is. I'd much rather, have them, use them for what they built, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, it is what it is. I've got insurance. I've got, you know what I mean. And not to sound arrogant, but if something goes wrong, I can afford to fix it. It's fine. I'd much rather have a toy and use it than have a toy and look at it.
Yeah, it's not like it's planned for, but it's expected in some way.
Yeah.
It's in the budget.
Things can go wrong.
Yeah.
A week ago, I took a 1-of-1 Liberty Walk on Killarney racetrack, and we absolutely mashed it for 6 hours, and we spun off and we went over the curbs and we had fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was worth it for me. If something had gone wrong, if it was worse than it was,
sure,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's it's fine. It's getting the use at once.
So about the Liberty Walk, I'm very interested in Liberty Walk and what they do. It looks like an insane process, but I don't know much about the build. Yep. Maybe you can chat about how that build went. I know it wasn't your car when it was being Liberty Walk, but how does a typical process work when you want to Liberty Walk your car?
So they're obviously quite exclusive with what cars they build. Liberty Walk's known for JDM cars,
sure,
GTRs, Supras, and S2000s, and whatever. They started as basically a company out of a garage in Japan, doing wide body cars for drift, wide body builds for drift cars. And then they kind of went into the more premium markets. Now they mainly GTRs. They do Ferraris, Lambos. They've got 2 kits for BMWs, which is the E92 M3 and the F82 M4.
Okay.
So it's a really good company. Their quality is on another level. They're very sort of anal about their fitment and the way their kits look as well, but the usability of their kits.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you see guys wide bodying their cars and they can't actually use them. They're not functional.
Yeah.
You see that flexing and moving. I absolutely mash my car all the time.
Yeah.
And my kits are fine.
And that's very cool. I think I've seen quite a few videos of Liberty Walk cars which, similar to yours, are being thrashed around a track or just being totally used, and it's fine. It's all right.
Yeah.
A lot of the Liberty Walk kits I see is also mixed with like air suspension kit where it just drops down. I don't know if yours also have.
No, mine doesn't. Yeah. Mine's just on coilovers for the performance, obviously.
Yeah, but it's actually so cool to see that even though those cars are being shown as art pieces, you can still drive them, thrash them totally.
Exactly.
How long does a typical Liberty Walk build take?
So I'm not sure internationally, but I know with race, because they've got so many cars and they're so high in demand, it can take 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. Like usually when you Liberty Walk a car, it's a big commitment. Like you know what's happening. There's being holes drilled in your car. Panels are being taken off.
Yeah,
it's big commitment.
Exactly. You can't reverse it. Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah. So, do you foresee the GTR maybe also being Liberty Walk in the future?
No.
Okay.
So I was actually planning on turning the GTR into an absolute dog of a car as well. I then decided it's not the way the GTR is. The reason I have a GTR is simply because of probably Fast and Furious and Need for Speed as a child.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I've got one. I'm not a massive GTR fanboy. You know, you get these guys that are hugely into their GTRs. I'm not that guy. I just appreciate the car, appreciate how it's been built, and I appreciate how it drives.
Yeah.
Those cars have massive potential. You can take them, 2,000-3,000 horsepower, which is cool. But even for me, that's too crazy.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting at the moment, the GTR it kind of falls in between my daily category and my toy, because it is a car that I can daily, but it's also a car that I can absolutely mash.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the middle at the moment. We've done some things to it. We've upgraded. We've got stage 2 or stage 3 hybrid turbos on it. We've got full alpha fuel rail systems. We've got flex fuel in the car, so I can run on ethanol. Literally all the bolt-ons as well. Done some suspension upgrades. So we could go for mad power with the GTR, but I feel like I'm happy with where it is at the moment, which is 550 kilowatts odd.
Yeah.
So it's not a slow car.
No, by no means.
But it's also nowhere near most of the other GTRs that get modded. But yeah, I'm still in the middle.
Still in the middle. Yeah.